was on the road to men, at first, but he was still a kid. There was a couple more times that he came and told us what he had done, and we were just devastated. Now, we have done everything we can as parents to handle this in-house. We need to get help. We went to outside folks, and we asked some very close friends if they could come over, and some of my best friends came over. We talked about it.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, October 28th, 2022. How is everyone? Are you feeling good? Is it good? Are you pumped up? Are you happy? I'm happy. It's Friday, and we have some more Duggar Digest, and we'll be finishing up today with a Sister Wives video, because why not? This video actually is about some Twitter details that are dropped by a former bodyguard of Josh Duggar, who had some interesting things to say in a tweet yesterday. And I was going to try to connect some dots to figure out what this means. And there was another article that came out by In Touch, which basically proves that the Duggars are hungry to get back on reality television. And that could be why this spin has been happening on In Touch, of trying to get people to feel sorry for Anna and try to get the Duggars, they're good people. Anna really loves them. She just needs distance. But then I thought, if the Duggars want to go back on TV, the Duggars should probably drop the shtick that it's the girl's fault. And so what the headline is like, why are they out of the spotlight? I think it's pretty obvious. But it says, the family isn't as public as they once were. Not having a show on the air has been a blessing and a curse. Yeah, it's less money in Jim Bob's pocket. It says that, of course, they blame Josh for counting on getting canceled. I blame Josh and Jim Bob and Michelle. And it says being in the spotlight definitely had its ups and downs, but most of them miss it. No, Jim Bob, we don't want you back on reality television. They also said that Josh's scandals has a lot to do with why some family members are not as active on social media. Well, it's probably because the scandal is not just a scandal, it's actually a crime. I hate when they limit it it's not a scandal. He was convicted. It's not an accusation, it's a fact in the world of law. The reason why they're not being online is because no one online has anything nice to say to them, and their facade has been destroyed. And anything that they're doing right now with In Touch, In Touch used to be the magazine that exposed them, and now In Touch is becoming like their propaganda machine. It's weird. I feel sad that Duggars are this lost in their cult that they cannot see the truth, or they're just so, I don't know. I don't even have words for what they're doing. Their thought process is so messed up. But no, we don't want you back on television. So let's talk about Josh's bodyguard saying that he was caught late at night with one of his sisters. Yeah, that really happened. Before we do me a big favor. I have a big goal of hitting 300,000 subscribers. I'm actually almost at 270,000 subscribers. So if you could hit the subscribe button on the way out to help me reach my goal, and make sure to give the video a thumbs up and leave comments if you have something to say, and turn the notifications bell by clicking the bell and setting your notifications to all. And subscribing is free. So let's break down what's going on with Josh's bodyguard, bringing up some new details about something that happened back in 2015. So let's take a trip back in time. Back in 2015, Josh Duggar was still working at the FRCA, okay? He was trying to pretend like he was a lobbyist and that he had the education and skills in order to do this, which he did not. Actually, people I've spoken to that were in the Washington area said that Josh was seen and viewed as someone that was in over his head, and that he was being used by the FRCA as, just a celebrity piece to get attention. Anyways, once news broke about Josh's 2006 investigation, when In Touch published the police reports, Josh was left Washington and he moved to Arkansas. And apparently during that time, he hired bodyguards and security. Now, interestingly, they ended up hiring the guy Steve, Kate Gosselin's old bodyguard. He was seen with Josh in 2015 in Maryland before Josh moved from Maryland to Arkansas. And then there are emails that In Touch got back in 2015 that show that Steve was contacting the local police and looking for off-duty people to work for security detail for the Duggars for a couple days while Josh was in transit to returning from home. So the Duggars did have bodyguards during this window of time. I don't know if it was to protect Josh from people trying to find him. I don't know. But they did have security during this period of time, and it was Steve's Nidal's company that managed it, and they had a security guard that was tracking and supposed to stay with Josh. Interesting that they didn't get security guards for the girls. They were going to protect Josh, but not the girls. So last year, one of the bodyguards, and I think that he had like a different people working for him. There was a security company, and then there was like off-duty police officers that worked with him, and then obviously they had a security company. I don't think he had the same guard all the time, and if I recall, this one didn't work with him for a super long time, but he didn't ask me anything back on Reddit in December of 2021. He actually deleted most of those answers, but he revealed some details, like Josh was always looking at adult content on his phone. He had said that Anna wasn't the nicest human being, and their relationship, he didn't really have a lot to say about them. The tidbits were like interesting, but like, it's Josh Duggar. Are we that surprised? After sitting kind of dormant and not posting anything, he posted on Twitter, and it said this, and it was yesterday. This actually comes from Reddit. Okay, it says, good writing session yesterday. I edited a story that I've never shared in full. A late night conversation in a driveway with Josh and a passenger he was trying to hide. It was my most shocking experience on that gig. I've shared it with my teammates and an anonymous official. So Josh was at a house in a driveway in a car trying to hide a passenger. And then he expanded and said the person hiding was one of his sisters. It was 3 a.m. and Josh was supposedly working on a house he was flipping. He actively concealed that one of his sisters was with him, and I reported it. So Mr. Bodyguard somehow finds Josh at a house that he's flipping at 3 a.m. I'm trying to imagine how this happens. Like, isn't your job to be with Josh at all times? How did Josh accidentally get away from you? My next question is, and I'm not here to shame him, it's just like, how did this all play out? And it's so vague. And then first he says that he's trying to hide one of his sisters. But you have to remember in 2015, during this time, Jessa was still living at home. She wasn't married yet to Ben. Ginger was still at home. Jana still lived at home. Joy would have been, I think, 18. So there was a number of older sisters that were of age that it could have been one of them. If that's the case, why was the sister out with him at 3 a.m.? And then it could have been one of the minor girls, but he didn't specify whether it was one of the older girls or younger girls. So we really have no idea. We also don't know why he's hiding them. Like, why is he hiding a child or a young adult in his car? Now, the stuff about working at 3 a.m., I know this sounds weird, but I've heard that the Duggars are super weird about bedtimes. So when I was speaking to people that have stayed over at the Duggars, I remember I talked to Caleb Williams because he stayed with them, and he said that the nighttime was chaotic. Like, no bedtimes, people were up all hours of the night, and they slept all day. I've heard this from multiple people that have stayed at the Duggars, that bedtime was not a thing. Like, the kids would be up well past midnight and would sleep in until like the middle of the afternoon. So if you're wondering them working at 3 a.m., I don't know that surprises me, but why is he out with one of his sisters? This would have been after the news had broken about the scandals, meaning Josh would have had access to being alone with one of his sisters. And then next, if there was suspicion of that, who did the bodyguard report this to? Was this reported to the police? Was this reported to his security company? And if the Duggars are hiring the security company, is the security company really going to consider the best interests of the girl, or are they there to protect Josh? Were the security company there to protect Josh from doing things to his sisters, or to protect Josh from someone doing something to Josh? There's a lot of questions I have about this, and obviously people's feelings are running all over the place. Like, what does this mean? And I am not going to speculate about what it means. It just means Josh was apparently at a house allegedly at 3 a.m. trying to hide one of his sisters. What beyond that, I don't know. So I did a little bit of digging to one, did they have bodyguards? Two, were there any like reports around this time? You would have thought that if something was happening with one of the girls, and if Josh was doing something, it would have been a report to police. And literally the only thing that I could find was that like not long after Josh moved back, there was like a call, like a welfare check, and DHS was trying to make contact with one of the kids at home, one of the children, and they never specified what child it was that they needed to make contact with. And there was an open investigation by DHS with the Duggars. They had to call 911 because the Duggars would not allow them into the house and would not let them see if the child was okay. I also found that In Touch published in 2015 this letter that it was like the call log of that event. And it basically said that the security guards prevented DHS from making contact with the Duggars and making contact with the child. So the security guards, there was actually people there to try to see if the kids were okay. And the security guards blocked them from seeing if the kids were okay by DHS. And DHS ended up having to call the police, and police, it's not known what happened after police were called. But on the CAD log that was dated from May 27th, it says the caller needs police assistance checking to see if a child is safe, and the security guard won't let them in. The caller is in a black Escalade. So they were going to the house and the security guards wouldn't let them in to see the house. So like my question here, and it doesn't say why they were called. Like it doesn't really, it's just like a welfare check, it looks like. It doesn't say why they're going there. It doesn't say what the call was for. They sent a car there. They were dispatched. Yeah, there's no details about what happened beyond that. When they had the option to have DHS check out the kids, the security prevented that from happening. So then my question here is, who did he report it to? Because if he reported it to the police, could this have been the situation where they took them and then this is what happened like that? I don't know. And nothing happened with this investigation that we know of because no charges were filed, nothing. Like, and Arkansas has a rule, investigations that involve children are all under like seal. So if there were records for this, we wouldn't have any idea. And interestingly, around the time of the lawsuit, the police department tried to get access to records from Josh, from DHS related to investigations of DHS into the Duggars and the kids, and DHS blocked it, citing privacy for the kids and the family, because juvenile records are sealed. So we will never know what, if anything, came of this. So did the security guard made the point that he said he reported things and nothing came of it. But it sounds like if you're working for the Duggars, you're the security team, is it in your best interest to report your employer to police and then you lose your job if you're in the business of making money? Or are you there to protect the family from law enforcement? It's very unclear. Now, Josh Duggar being alone with one of his sisters at 3 a.m., lots of red flags, right? But we don't know what it means. Is there going to be skeletons that come out that come out of the closet? Will there be more details come out? My hope is not that it's put out this way. I would hope that if things have happened to people, that they file police reports. So if Josh has done things to people, I would hope that people would file police reports against him. I would hope that if there were recent situations like this that happened in 2015, if there were more recent incidences like this, that it would get reported to police. I would hope. The Duggars have a long history of blocking DHS to see their kids. And it's this distrust of the government, this distrust of, authorities, and they want to protect their secrets. I've said it a million times that if you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing. And if it's always in the best interest of your children to have mandated reporters check them out, because it feels more, you're protecting your child who has their own autonomy. It's in the best interest of your child to have the best care. And if the child is not getting cared for at home, they need, and resources can be provided, that's not a bad thing. I know a lot of people don't like CPS, but in my experience, personally, they're there to help you more than hurt you. With the Duggars, my belief is they don't trust them because they know that there's things going on that they don't want the CPS people to know about. So Josh stuck inside a car with one of his sisters. We don't know who it is. We don't know what it's about. Someone I talked to a long time ago, I think it was Bobby or Jim Holt, I don't know, one of the Duggar sources, and I don't quote me on that, they believed that what Josh was doing to his sisters never actually stopped, or that he found new people to do things to. And I have a hard time believing that nothing stopped. I think he got better at concealing it. That's my opinion. And if it's one of the younger sisters, it's really sad. And if Jim Bob and Michelle still protect Josh to this day because of it and shame the girls by saying that you're betraying us, will they ever report him to police? Probably not. And if one of Josh's kids actually were to accuse him, I still feel like they would take the side of Josh, which is sad. So what are your thoughts about what Josh was doing in his car at 3 a.m., allegedly? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.